In this part, we're joined by a special guest, but before we get him on the phone, we're going to take a look at the first Cockney Cup final, as Ken put it so nicely, between, it's the FA Cup final from 1967 between Tottenham and Chelsea. So take a look at this.
Wembley, great Wembley. Not long ago, the focal point for world soccer, now the setting for the greatest prize of English football, the FA Cup. This year, a Cockney Cup final. Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur, two brilliant London teams. Outside, those without a hope of getting in. Inside, 100,000 let out the Wembley roar. Spurs went straight into the attack. Chelsea quickly replied. Charlie Cook surged down the right wing. Into the middle, but the safe hands of Jennings collected easily. Now it was the turn of Tottenham wonderboy Greaves. Gilzean was with him. It spelt danger for Chelsea. No luck for Saul that time. McCready for Chelsea, but Spurs had the edge. Mullery's shot hit a defender. Robertson was perfect for the rebound. "45 minutes gone, Spurs 1 goal ahead. Bad for Chelsea. The interval robbed them of the chance to strike back while the iron was hot. And Chelsea felt it, but it was only 1 goal, and both teams looked serious as they went off at half-time. Let's relive that first half through some of the faces in the crowd. The faces of Wembley. As the second half began, Robertson's goal had its effect on both teams. Spurs bent on increasing their lead, Chelsea on drawing level and going ahead themselves. Eddie McCready's header gave Jennings little trouble. Again, and decisively as it turned out, the sheer class of Tottenham Hotspur showed itself. From Robertson's header, Frank Saul shot into the net. It might have been another for Spurs, but Greaves' shot was brilliantly saved. On came Chelsea now. Baldwin to Hateley, but still no luck. A few minutes before the end, Chelsea got a goal. Boyle centred, Tambling headed in. But for Chelsea, time had run out. They failed to get the equaliser. Spurs 2, Chelsea 1 at the final whistle. To a very proud Dave Mackay, the Duke of Kent presented the trophy, which in the whole field of sport is surely the most coveted, the FA Cup. Dave Mackay was in Spurs' cup-winning team in '61, again in '62, and here he was for the 3rd time, and that despite a twice broken leg. The fans have good reason to call him the Iron Man. Mike England, the man Tony Hateley couldn't master. Jimmy Greaves and Alan Gilzean, a great combination.
Well, that was some brilliant footage there from the 1967 Cockney Cup final, the FA Cup final, which Tottenham won 2-1. So joining us now on the phone, a former Chelsea legend, having made over 600 appearances for Chelsea between 1961 and 1980, we've got Ron Chopper Harris. Okay, we don't have Ron Chopper Harris on the phone just at the moment, but we will get him back on the line soon. Great footage there from the 1967 final.
What was significant about that? Obviously, it was a Cockney Cup final, but also Britain won the Eurovision Song Contest. with Sandy Shaw, Puppet on a String, 1967.
That's a great memory you have.
Excellent
there,
memory there. But I think what was really significant about that was that, you know, like, there's very few all-London finals in the FA Cup, and that being the first one was very significant. The fact
it did kind of set the tone for these Cockney Cup finals, because with Tottenham winning, they have got a pretty good record against Chelsea in finals.
It's amazing, really, that, you know, everyone talks about.
We've now got Ron Chopper Harris on the phone. Welcome to the show, Ron. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Brilliant. So you played. We just showed some footage from the 1967 FA Cup final.
Yes.
A game that you actually played in. So what are your memories of that game?
I think it was the first All-London Cup final. We never really performed. Chelsea, I think we made the score look a bit close, because we scored in the last 2 or 3 minutes. But other than that, I think that we had a lot of youngsters in the side, and really we froze on the day, really. But you know, as I say, I think Chelsea were very disappointed with the performance of the players. But you know, it's just one of those things, really.
Yeah, because I remember that sort of. Obviously, I wasn't born during that time, but I think it was that time when you had a good crop of youngsters, like people like Peter Osgood. I understand that McCready and Charlie Cook were playing that during that era.
Yeah, it was where Pete Benetti played, my brother Alan.
Yeah, I remember your brother Alan in there.
Yeah, Charlie Cook, Peter Osgood never played because I think he broke his leg.
Oh, right.
John Boyle. You know, there's a lot of youngsters playing. But as I say, we never really, they was head and shoulders above us. We just froze on the daylight. But as I say, it was the first, I think, all-London FA Cup final.
Because I know you got a bit of a pedigree in this competition, because I know you won it in 65, 3-2 on aggregate against Leicester. Then in 1972, I believe you were playing when you lost against Stoke, the 2-1 game, and George Easton got the winner.
Yeah, George Easton, yeah, we got beat 2-1. And I think that, you know, before the game, you know, everybody was talking about Chelsea winning, and Stoke was, without being disrespectful at the time, an unfashionable club, the underdogs. And as I say, it was a bit of a shock to everybody that we finished up losing 2-1.
Hi, Ron. It's Charlie here. I'm a season ticket holder at Chelsea. And
Hi, Charlie.
In regards to the game coming ahead, I was going to ask you a bit about what you think of the team. You know, who, back in your day, which members of that team would you have won alongside you?
Well, I think football is completely different to what it is nowadays. But obviously, I've always said along the way that I'd have loved to have played alongside John Terry, because I thought we'd have done a very good combination, because he could have chipped the inside forwards to me and I'd have volleyed them back to him. You know, but, you know, no, as I say, John, I think is a tremendous, he's had a tremendous season. I did, what should I say, I'm proud of the fact I've played more games than anybody, like, in the history of the football club. And last year at one of the dinners, when Frank Lampard and him had passed 600 odd games, I'm still confident that I've seen Frank off, and I think I'll see John off. But if John beats my record, I'll be the first one to go over and congratulate him.
Yeah, I think it'd be a tough one. 655 appearances is incredible.
Because we're talking. The thing about the game on Sunday is that one of the unusual things that I've noticed is that in the league, you know, in the FA Cup, you've got a superior record against Spurs, but in terms of cup finals, they got a 100% record against you. And I was just thinking, obviously,
yeah, but that'll change on Sunday.
I was getting to that. I was hoping you'd say that, Ron. Yeah, because my next question is, obviously you just answered it. Would it have any bearing on Sunday? But you've already mentioned that it's going to have no bearing, that Chelsea are going to win.
Well, I think, it's like everything else. When you're playing games, you think, all the times I played up at Liverpool, I never won a league game. But, sooner or later, it's got to come. And I obviously, you know, Chelsea are still favourites by the bookmakers, but you know, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think Chelsea, what shall I say, after getting beat 5-3 the other week, be that much more determined to, you know, to want to start winning the first trophy of the season. So it's going to be a tough game, but they got turned over tonight, didn't they? Spurs in Italy.
Yeah.
So how big a loss to Chelsea is Matic? Obviously he's suspended for the game. How are they going to plug that hole in the midfield?
Well, I think he's had a tremendous season. I think he's a tremendous lad, playing ability-wise. But, you know, obviously I think he will be missed. But, you know, I think they've got whoever plays in that role, you know, maybe Obi Mikel, but he's been injured and been out for some time. So I'm sure Jose will have something up his sleeve to, you know, counter that. But as I say, I think he will be missed by Chelsea because, as I say, I think he's been an outstanding player for Chelsea so far this season.
No, because I think, you know, one of the things we're talking about is that obviously, you know, there's going to be Obi and Mikel can't play. And obviously, we're thinking that Ramirez is going to play in midfield. But I was thinking that, do you think that Mourinho might say maybe use Cahill or Azpilicueta in that sort of, you know, screening a back four in midfield?
No, I can't see that happening. I think that, you know, their people in midfield would be like Ramirez, Fabregas and Willow. So I can't see... you know, I don't know, but I'll be really surprised if, you know, anybody else plays, when you say Cahill or Azpilicueta plays in that role. I can't see that happening.
No, because I think in terms of, like, you know, like, you've gone for a Chelsea win. I expect you'd do that. But in terms of, like, key players, you know, like, we haven't mentioned Diego Costa much, but I think one of the players that I'm sure you're very impressed with is someone like Eden Hazard.
Well, you know, Eden Hazard's one of these fellas that's, you know, beats people so easily, and I think if he's on form, he'll torment any defence. And, you know, obviously, since Diego Costa's come back from the suspension, he's looked a bit rusty, but hopefully things will be put right on Sunday. But I think Eden Hazard will be one of, you know, the players that will perform on the day. Big crowd, big pitch, lovely playing surface, and I think if he's on form, he's one of the exciting players in the Premiership.
Yeah. And finally, Ron, could you give us a prediction, score prediction?
3-1 to Chelsea.
Good man, good man.
Comfortable win, eh, Ron?
Good stuff.
Yes.
Oh, Ron, will you be at the match?
Yes, I'm there with Johnny Hollins and Martin Chivers and another lad from the Spurs, hosting the thing for the FA.
Brilliant. Cool. Well, enjoy the game on Sunday, Ron. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, Chelsea legend there.
Yeah, it was good. It's great.
Games.
Yeah, it was great to talk to him.
How many red cards would he get in the modern game?
Yeah, I was going to say, you look at that 1970 FA Cup final, I think they looked at it from a modern perspective. Yeah. It was like 6 reds and 11 yellows, and over the course of the 2 games, 1 yellow card was given. So shows you how much the game has changed.
I remember one of Ron's tackles on Eddie Gray.
Brilliant stuff. So join us after this short break when we'll be carrying on our preview of this Sunday's final.